So hello everyone, in this video we'll be solving another LeetCode problem and the problem name is transformed array. So you are given an integer array nums that represents a circular array. Your task is to create a new array result of the same size following these rules. Now for each index I, perform the following independent action. If nums of I is greater than 0, then start at index I and move nums of I steps to the right in the circular array and set the result of I to the value of the index where you land. If nums of I is less than 0, then start at index I and move towards the absolute value of nums of I steps towards the left in the circular array. In the end, again set the result of I to the value of the index where you actually land. Now if nums of I is 0, then set result equal to whatever the nums of I value is. In the end, you need to return the new array result. So this is what the question is saying. So what the question is saying that you are given a nums array and let's say you are at present at this particular value. So let's say this is the ith index and the nums value is, let's say, 7. Now if this, obviously it is greater than 0, so you need to move towards the right 7 steps, and if the array ends, then you need to move in the circular fashion. That means you need to again start iteration from the 0th index. If the nums of I is equal to 0, that means you don't need to move anything towards the right or left. You just need to store nums of I value into our result. Now if this particular nums of I value is negative, that means -7, let's say, so you need to move 7 steps towards the left, and if the array ends, then you need to start in circular fashion from the end. So this is what the question is saying. So this is simple implementation based problem, just what the question has said. We just need to simulate this. So there can be two methods. First is the brute force method and then is the better method. Better method is actually using the modulo arithmetic property, so we will see that. But first of all, let us see the brute force method. So this is the brute force method. So first we are declaring a result which is consist of size n, and we are just iterating over each and every element of the nums array. Now if the nums of I is equal to 0, that means we need to set result of I equal to nums of I. But if it is not equal to 0, that means we need to move either number of steps towards the right or towards the left. If nums of I is positive, that means we need to move towards the right, and if nums of I is negative, then we need to move towards the left. But we need to take the absolute value, because if the number is negative, how can we move -7 steps? So we will move 7 steps but towards the left. So we will take the absolute value of nums, and from this current position we need to move either to left or right. So this is what we are checking. Then what we are doing, we are checking whether we need to go towards the right or go towards the left. If nums of I is greater than 0, that means we need to go towards the right. If nums of I was less than 0, that means we need to move towards the left. So we need to do +1 to the current index till this step number of time, till this nums of I number of times. Same for the left part. If we are going towards the left, we need to go one step backwards. That means we need to do -1 towards the left part, and we need to do this steps number of times, or nums of I, or absolute value of nums of I number of times. And why we are doing this, we are modding it with n, because we need to do in circular fashion. So if we go out of bounds, n, so we need to start again from 0. So this mod n will it will make sure that we don't go out of bounds, either towards the left or towards the right. And also one thing is that why we are doing here +n, we are doing that such that if position becomes negative, let's say -1 or -2, we can add n to it so that it becomes positive, and then we are taking mod n so that it could balance this same thing on the positive side. So this is a basic modulo properties and all of that, a basic thing, basic mathematics. So nothing much to explain much in this part. So in the end, we are just setting result of I equal to nums of pos, whatever this final position we get. In the end, we are just returning the resultant array. So the outer loop runs n number of times because we reach each and every index, and this inner loop will also may run up to n number of times. So O of n times n, it becomes the time complexity of O of n square. So obviously, since it is an easy problem, so it will get accepted, the O of n square solution, but we will see O of n solution as well. So let us see now. So this is the O of n solution. First we have declared the result array of size n, and then we are iterating onto each and every element. So actually we don't need to go to each and every step to check whether we have reached the final position or not for I plus nums of I. We actually don't need to iterate to each and every index from I to I plus nums of I. We can directly check what is nums of I plus nums of I. So we can directly go on to this index. Now we need to take care that we move in the circular fashion. So what we are doing, we are just modding it with n, so that it will take care that we go into the circular fashion. So if we go out of bounds towards the right side, it will make sure that we will start from 0. If we go out of bound from the left side, it will make sure that we will start from the end. So this is what this mod does. And whatever the nums of I value is, it can be either positive or negative. So in positive, we don't need to take care about anything except for this circular part. But if it is negative, our index can go negative also. So we don't want that, because negative index doesn't exist. So we are doing plus n and mod n again, so that it could balance it negative to the positive side, and we can do the iteration forward. So this is what we are doing. So let me just show you one more number of time what we are doing. So nums of which position we need to go? We need to go I plus nums of I, but in a circular manner. So we are doing mod n. Now if this nums of I is negative, that means it may happen that I minus nums of I can become less than 0. But less than 0 index doesn't exist in nums. So we are doing plus n and mod n again, so that we balance out this negative part towards the positive part. So that is what we are doing, and we are storing the answer in the result of I. In the end, we are just returning the result. So I hope you understand this particular solution. So thank you for watching.